Did you know that in 1982, Renault became the second European automaker to build cars in the US after Volkswagen? It's hard to imagine today, but French automakers like Renault, Peugeot, and Citroën once had a significant presence in the American market. However, by the early 1990s, all major French car brands had withdrawn from the US, leaving many wondering why. Let's dive into the reasons behind this automotive mystery. Number 7. Economic and political factors. Let's start with a broader economic and political factor that influenced the fate of French cars in America. The economic and political landscape during the 1970s and 1980s played a significant role in the struggles of French automakers in the U.S. The oil crisis of the 1970s initially created an opportunity for fuel-efficient cars, benefiting brands like Renault. However, as fuel prices stabilized, the appeal of these economical cars diminished. Additionally, French automakers faced significant financial challenges during this period. Citroën, for example, experienced severe financial difficulties and underwent several ownership changes. In 1974, the same year Citroën exited the U.S. market, the French government orchestrated a merger with Peugeot to prevent the collapse of the French automotive industry. Renault's situation was equally tumultuous. In 1986, Renault's CEO, Georges Besse, was assassinated, possibly due to his controversial restructuring efforts aimed at making the company profitable. This tragedy destabilized Renault's leadership and led to a shift in focus away from the U.S. market. Subsequent CEOs were less interested in expanding Renault's presence in America, contributing to the company's eventual withdrawal. Number 6. Marketing and strategic failures. Marketing can make or break a product. Unfortunately, French automakers made several strategic missteps in their U.S. campaigns. Effective marketing and strategic partnerships are essential for penetrating and sustaining a presence in a foreign market. French automakers, however, often faltered in their marketing efforts and strategic decisions. Renault's partnership with AMC is a prime example. While the idea of leveraging AMC's dealership network was sound, the execution was flawed. By the 1980s, AMC's glory days were behind it, and the company was primarily known for its off-road vehicles like the Jeep Wrangler and Cherokee. Convincing customers who came in for rugged off-road vehicles to purchase a small, economical Renault proved challenging. Moreover, Renault faced internal issues, such as rumors of higher commissions for AMC cars than Renault, which further complicated the partnership. These strategic missteps hindered Renault's ability to establish a strong market presence. Peugeot's marketing efforts also fell short. Peugeot tried to make a splash in New York City by offering Peugeot 505s to taxi drivers to boost visibility. However, the car's higher cost and maintenance issues with New York's rugged streets led to the failure of this initiative. The poor execution of this marketing stunt only highlighted Peugeot's inability to understand and adapt to the unique challenges of the U.S. market. Number 5. Competition from established American and Japanese brands. Competition in the automotive industry is fierce, and French cars face stiff rivals both at home and abroad. The U.S. automotive market has always been highly competitive, with strong domestic brands like Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler dominating the scene. These American giants had deep roots, extensive dealer networks, and a loyal customer base. They were well attuned to the preferences and needs of American consumers. In the 1980s, Japanese automakers made significant inroads into the U.S. market. Brands like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan were gaining popularity due to their reliability, fuel efficiency, and affordable pricing. The success of Japanese cars added another layer of competition that French automakers struggled to contend with. For instance, the Renault Alliance, which was marketed as an economical and fuel-efficient car, initially performed well during the early 1980s, when gas prices were high. However, as fuel prices dropped and competition from Japanese cars intensified, sales of the Alliance dropped. By 1987, Renault had exited the U.S. market, selling its stake in AMC to Chrysler. The combination of entrenched American brands and the rise of Japanese automakers created a competitive landscape that French car manufacturers found difficult to navigate. Without a clear competitive advantage or unique selling proposition, French cars could not secure a foothold in the U.S. market. Number 4. Lack of brand recognition and prestige. In the US, brand identity and prestige are critical for automotive success. Brands like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and even Toyota have built strong reputations over decades. They are associated with quality, reliability, and prestige in the case of luxury brands. French cars, however, never achieved the same level of recognition or prestige in the US. Peugeot, Citroën, and Renault were known in Europe for their affordability and innovative designs. However, in the US, they were often seen as budget-friendly options without the cachet of luxury or performance. This perception was a significant disadvantage, especially when competing against well-established American luxury brands like Cadillac and Lincoln, or the reliable and affordable Japanese brands gaining popularity during the same period. The French automakers' attempts to enter the luxury market were met with limited success. For instance, the Peugeot 604, which was positioned as a luxury sedan, failed to gain traction against more prestigious competitors like Mercedes-Benz. The lack of a strong, positive brand identity in the U.S. market hindered the ability of French cars to attract and retain customers. As the French auto industry consolidated under larger multinational parent companies in the late 20th century, it also diluted the unique brand identities and quirky, innovative streaks that initially made them appealing. Peugeot's purchase of Citroën in the 1970s and later Renault's alliance with Nissan exemplified this trend. Struggling to compete globally, the distinctiveness of the French brands was largely cast aside in favor of more mainstream global marketing approaches and shared platforms. Number 3. Regulatory challenges. Automotive regulations differ significantly between the US and Europe. In Europe, French cars were designed to meet local standards, which often differed from American regulations. When French cars were imported to the US, they had to be redesigned to comply with a new set of rules, which was both costly and time-consuming. For example, the Citroën DS, famous for its hydro-pneumatic suspension, faced significant challenges in the US due to bumper height regulations. The DS's adjustable ride height feature, which was a selling point in Europe, conflicted with US laws. This, along with other regulatory issues, forced Citroën to make extensive modifications to its cars, leading to increased costs and compromised designs. Moreover, US safety and emission standards were constantly evolving, creating a moving target for compliance. French automakers found themselves in a continuous cycle of redesigning their vehicles to keep up with these changes. This regulatory burden was a major factor in the withdrawal of French car brands from the U.S. market. Citroën, for instance, left the U.S. in 1974, partly because it was impractical to meet American regulations without losing the essence of their innovative designs. Policies like the chicken tax on imported trucks and commercial vehicles further complicated matters for French automakers hoping to compete in certain vehicle segments. Number 2. Insufficient dealer networks. Next, let's delve into the importance of having a robust dealer network. It's not just about selling cars, it's about being there for your customers when they need you. A strong network of dealerships is crucial for any car manufacturer. Dealerships are the primary touchpoints for potential customers to see, test, and purchase cars. They also provide essential after-sales services, such as maintenance and repairs. In the competitive U.S. market, having a widespread and accessible dealer network is vital for success. French automakers, however, struggle with this aspect. Peugeot, for instance, had only 151 dealerships in the U.S. when it pulled out of the market in 1991. Citroën peaked at around 170 dealerships. In contrast, major American brands like Chevrolet had thousands of dealerships, ensuring their cars and services were easily accessible to consumers across the country. Fiat, an Italian automaker, recognized this issue and solved it by acquiring Chrysler, which provided them with a vast network of dealerships. Renault attempted a similar strategy by partnering with American Motors Corporation, AMC. Unfortunately, this partnership was filled with challenges, and the limited dealer network remained a significant obstacle. Number 1. Design for French, not Americans. Finally, let's discuss design philosophy. French automakers knew what their local customers wanted, but did they understand the American mindset? French cars were primarily designed with the European consumer in mind. Fuel economy was a major focus, as fuel prices were significantly higher in Europe than in the U.S. French manufacturers like Renault and Peugeot emphasized efficient, small-displacement engines that sipped fuel. This made perfect sense in Europe, where city driving and shorter distances between destinations were the norms. The compact, quirky designs aim to optimize urban maneuverability rather than long-distance cruising comfort. But these qualities clash with the American love for roomy, powerful vehicles suited for the country's vast expanses. Models like the Citroën 2CV and Renault Le Car garnered cult followings for their unconventional styling. However, to the typical American buyer, they reinforced unfair stereotypes of French cars as weird novelties rather than practical daily drivers. Their unique hydropneumatic suspension and other avant-garde features struggled to resonate beyond compact car enthusiasts. The vast geography of the U.S. meant that long-distance driving was common, and Americans valued power, acceleration, and speed. Big engines and high horsepower were not just desired, they were expected. Muscle cars and large sedans dominated the market, and the French focus on fuel economy seemed out of touch with American preferences. What's your take on French cars? Would you like to see them back on American roads? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, drive safe and keep exploring.